that energy drain that happens when you find those communication problems are holding you down and holding you back at work. It's nothing like having that friction that comes from not understanding how, why are people responding to me this way when that's never my intention. My intention is not to, alienate or to infuriate other people, but sometimes we all have tendencies to do that. Well, why is that? That's because we're not all wired the same. We all have different ways of processing information as it comes in. And that's what we're, again, going to spend some time on today. Because there's some amazing research that's been made available recently that shows us beyond a shadow of a doubt, really, that we can get the skills we need to be powerful in this area of building rapport. And what that does for you then is create the opportunity to build those relationships, those stronger teams that we talked about earlier. Third and last thing to be thinking about as you step into any next aspect of your day, especially again when you're being aware that how you show up, number one, is what leadership is, right? Leaders lead. So as you show up with energy, as you show up with focus, and you show up with a positive expectation that this next segment of your day can be powerful, that it can be move the needle of whatever it is that's most important for you, right? So energy, focus, positive expectation. So where are you in terms of positive expectation that this next 45 minutes or so is going to be powerful for you? Nice, good, 10. And guess what, you might be at a 3, and I understand that. And that's okay, just being aware of where you are is what matters. In today's world with the technology where it is, so much technology, especially in our communication, there's a growing number of people who feel quite isolated. At the end of the day, people really want to know, really deeply need to know that they're being taken care of, whether they're on your team or your customers or at home. There's an increasing need to feel like someone's got our back, that someone is on our side pulling for us. And when you take the time to understand their communication style, you start to build that bridge. It creates loyalty in your teams. It's an expensive voyage to find out after the fact, after someone's left the company, after someone has left as a customer, that really what it was they just didn't feel a bond. They didn't feel like you cared. This is one of the tools you can use inside your companies, with your customers, elsewhere, to be able to make sure they know that you care. And it's subtle and it's kind of under the radar for them, but when you show up speaking their language, they feel it. So they start to give you clues. Now you got the clue, what do you do with it? You just speak in their language. If you have somebody who's necessity focused, don't spend your time on things like how great it's going to be or how marvelous this future path looks. It'll resonate to an extent, but it's not what drives them, right? It's not what drives them. You got to speak their language. Then the reverse is true. Somebody comes in with stacks of data for somebody who's more big picture, what happens? They just glaze over, right? So just again, back to our model, just being aware that this is how some people might be wired differently than you, and acknowledging that difference, and then just simply changing your approach. When this is about customers, it's really advantageous to take these notes and put them in your customer relationship management software or in your notebook. So when you go to see them again, you don't have to rethink it all. Or you're going to talk to your boss for your annual review or some quarterly update or whatever. Take a little bit of time to think about, okay, what do I know about how that person's wired so that I can start to speak their language quickly. When you start to speak in their language, what's really cool is, once you've built that bridge, then they'll start to move their way of being a little bit closer to how you like things. But you can't do it in reverse order. You got to build the rapport first.